XTERRA family, Evan Pardi here, professional triathlete and professional double bass player. Here to talk about more of the mental side of racing XTERRA. Today we're going to talk about mental race preparation. In the last video we also talked about the difference between the performance mindset and the training mindset, so go check that out as well. First up is the visualization of the race flow. So in music, we like to go on stage for a big performance having a good idea of how the performance is going to flow. Know the order, know what's going to happen, know what we should be doing, where we should turn pages, all those little logistics. Do the same thing in XTERRA. Plan ahead of how the race is going to flow. Think about your transitions especially so that there's no nervousness there. You just go bing, bing, bong right through the transition zone. Same thing for the whole race course. Be prepared, think about it ahead of time about how you're going to go from each segment to the next, and where in the bike you might start thinking about changing gearing to get ready for the run, or where in the swim you're already thinking about, okay, let me calm down a little bit, make sure I'm ready to go crush a long bike section. Always setting up the logistics is key. To make sure we have a good logistics setup, the best thing to do is think about a race strategy and a race ahead of time. This is a key in music performance, is to go ahead and sit down and play the piece in our brain before we even touch our instrument. So a lot of times I'll go and sit down and go ahead and think through the entire movement of a work that I'm about to perform. Same thing for racing XTERRA. Go ahead, take a moment, a week before a race, 2 weeks before a race, and think about the swim. Think about how it's going to feel. Think about the water's feeling on you. Think about all of those tactile functions. What that's going to do is really prepare you to be comfortable in that zone in that moment. And that applies for the bike. Think about how the suspension might feel, all of those little elements, and the run to help get you ready and more comfortable and prepared mentally for the race. Just a quick metaphor that was told to me by Gerard Schwartz, the former conductor of the Seattle Symphony. He said a rabbit that knows all of the ground near its hole has a 99% chance of survival if a predator attacks it, whereas if it doesn't know the surroundings, not so good. That was in relation to being mentally prepared for auditions and performances, but the metaphor holds. If we're really comfortable in our surroundings, then we're going to be really comfortable with what's about to happen physically. So the mental comfort equals physical comfort and a good plan of action. To achieve this good plan of action, the best thing we could do is go ahead and pre-ride, stare at course maps, go through every little bit of logistics in terms of aid stations, swim exit, transitions. All the little pieces, if we're really thinking about them ahead of time, have them planned out, stare at the maps, then we're going to be very comfortable mentally with this environment that we're in, and therefore we're going to physically perform better because we're not worrying about something else. The best way to do mental race preparation in terms of logistics is always, if you can, show up to the race site early. I always walk transition multiple times just to be familiar with it, find my rack space, make sure I know who's around me, what they're doing, what their bikes are, so I'm familiar when I'm running up to my bike where to grab. Same thing for the bike course. I like to really know, hey, at mile 11 there's a big rock drop, be aware, change gearings, sit back on the saddle. And I filed those away in a sort of file cabinet. And the best thing to do is go ahead, once you know those spots, write them down, think about them the night before, think about them the day before, and just have that file cabinet ready so when you're out on the race course, it's just bing, bing, bong, we're going right through those files. Great, no problem. I can access these and think about them as I'm going, and I'm not stressed about them. One last final point, if there's anything that brings you stress about what you're about to do in the race or a performance as a musician, we like to go ahead and walk through it way ahead of time. So for me, if there's a very fast technical piece on the bass, I'll go ahead, not only practice it, but think about it slowly and think about how I'll feel in the moment. So I'll go ahead and try to make myself nervous so I can deal with those nerves in practice. Same thing for the bike. If there's a technical section that you're nervous about, think about how you're going to be nervous and then accept that. So when the moment comes, it's okay to be nervous, and you're not mad at yourself for being nervous. You just accept the reality and move through it.